Bowling Green, Ohio, rich farmland and a traditional tractor-pulling hotbed. But today, the Wood County Fairgrounds are transformed into a battle zone for 6-ton racing giants. Get set for side-by-side thrills. It's monster truck racing. Next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of TNT's Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee alongside Rich Hooser. We're in Bowling Green, Ohio at the Wood County Fairgrounds. Now, we have two of the finest pulling tracks in America located right here. But this weekend, those tracks have been taken over by the Monsters.
Right, Gary. Now, the Monster Trucks were here for the very first time last year and put on a great show. But now this year, it's going to be even better. We got a lot more competition. A lot of new trucks now that weren't here last year are coming out to run on this track, and it's going to be some great racing. And
we'll be joined by Army Armstrong momentarily. But first, we'll take this break and then come back with racing action from Bowling Green, Ohio. As the sun shines through some breaks in the clouds, we have had rain earlier, but it is dry right now here in Bowling Green, Ohio. First round matchups in this 12-truck race. We'll have King Kong against King Crunch, Nightlife and Clydesdale, Carolina Crusher, and Wild Hare. We'll also have Bigfoot going against Bull Power Magic. No problem in Buffalo Tremor, and Equalizer against Playing for Keeps. But one truck that won't see action this evening will be the popular Grave Digger. This happened earlier in qualifying. He was up against Equalizer and Greg Holbrook, and actually he had the faster run of the two, but broke as he went over the second set of cars. Here's Rich with Dennis Anderson.
Hey, Dennis, it was a good run, but I see we got some problems.
Yeah, busted the input shaft here. You know, the input shaft goes into the torque converter, and these big heavy trucks and powerful motors, we tend to do this right often, you know. So this was the deal, though. This little shaft here put us out here tonight. We'll get it going. We tore the transmission down. We're going to try to replace it, but we couldn't get it going in time for the next round. So here we are in the pits. We'll have it going for the next day, I guess.
So a bitter disappointment for these fans here. They like to see the Grave Digger in action. They will see King Kong, though. Here is Steve Kane from Killeen, Texas, and he goes up against Scott Stevens in the Chevrolet King Crunch. So it's actually Chevy against Ford. However, King Kong is powered by a Chevrolet. And King Kong will take the victory. King Kong, the Ford pickup truck powered by a Chevrolet, he gets a good hole shot, and he leads from the starting green light.
King Kong did a great job just keeping it steady, and then King Crunch just came on there at the end, almost, but not quite enough. As we'll see here, Kong just has a pretty steady run. He just keeps going and just a little bit faster each time. Now, on the other hand, King Crunch was off and on the throttle so much, and that cost him a lot of time. Look at the air underneath Kong. He actually cleared the whole set of cars.
So King Kong advances as we look into the cockpit of Dave Wyzorik's Nightlife. Dave Wyzorik will go up against Bennett Clark from Powder Springs, Georgia, in the truck he calls Clydesdale. And Clydesdale has a problem immediately, and Nightlife will take the victory and advance to round 2 competition.
And as you notice, Wyzorik knew that there was problems for Clydesdale at the starting line, because as soon as he got over that first set and he seen he had the problems there, he took it easy, because there's no sense in destroying your equipment, and he wanted to make sure that he was going to advance to the next round.
So Nightlife will advance indeed, and here comes Gary Porter in Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter, the 3rd fast qualifier. He will take on the 9th fast qualifier, Marvin Smith in Wild Hare. Porter will take the victory. It was ever so close over the first set of cars, but this long track is very much to Gary Porter's liking. Right here, he nails the hammer and takes the advantage.
Gary did a great job, and like you said, he does like these long courses because it gives him a little time to get his speed up. The way his truck is geared, he needs that extra time.
Awfully quick track out there tonight, Gary.
It is. The track's very tight, very fast. The ramps, are just perfect for speed, and the only problem I think I'm going to have tonight is maybe running out of a gear. I chose the wrong gear selection in my transfer case for this course, and I'm not getting the speed out of it I would like to.
Well, remember, a couple of the fast losers will advance, so we may see Wild Hair back in the second round. As our first round competition continues with Mopar Magic, Gary Wiggins, he will go up against John Pyatt in Bigfoot 4. And Bigfoot with the big advantage, and John Pyatt will advance.
It was going to be real close, but right away, Mopar Magic had some problems at the beginning, but Pyatt didn't. The truck seemed to be running real good. He had some problems earlier in qualifying the way that truck was running, but he seemed to get the bugs out of it for this race because he did a fine job.
And we look once again at John Pyatt, who gets faster every weekend with this Bigfoot 4. As our competition now continues, here's a look at John Moore in No Problem, the driver out of Lafayette, Tennessee. He's the driver and the owner. And here is the Buffalo Tremor, John Kwasniewski. They call him Johnny K. Ford Bronco against a Chevrolet pickup truck. And a problem immediately for John Kwasniewski.
Now, Johnny K's been working on that truck all day long to meet qualifications. His engine size was too many cubic inches running on alcohol. So, in order to be fair with the rest of the competitors, he had to switch over to gas. And his engine just does not want to accept the gasoline since it's been used to running on alcohol.
So John Moore will take the victory in his Ford Bronco. He will advance as we take a look at Jesse Bergey's brand new GMC playing for keeps. This is a good-looking truck as he goes up against Greg Holbrook in Equalizer. It is Chevrolet against GMC. And it looks like Chevrolet with Holbrook will take this victory and put that GMC back on the trailer. Holbrook will advance.
This is a new truck for Jesse Bergey, so he's still trying to get the bugs out of it, but Equalizer just pretty much blew him away on this round here. He had a good time doing it.
Rich, with the 12-truck race format, the two fastest losers from round one will advance, and they will be King Crunch, the fastest loser, and Wild Hair, the second fastest loser. So we'll see those two back in competition in round two. And round two is coming up from the Wood County Fairgrounds here in Bowling Green, Ohio, as trucks and tractor power continues. Stay with us. It is a cool, damp evening in northwestern Ohio. Hi, everybody. Gary Lee along with Rich Hooser and Army Armstrong. We're ready for round two. King Kong takes on Nightlife. Wild Hair against Carolina Crusher. Then we have the two pairings that include King Crunch with Bigfoot and No Problem paired up with Equalizer. Round two competition, the Wood County Fairgrounds here in Bowling Green, Ohio. And there's a look at Dave Wyzorek out of Grand Island, Nebraska in Nightlife. And he will take on the 4-year-old truck King Kong. Steve Kane out of Killeen, Texas. This is the Ford truck with a Chevy power plant. A look there from the cockpit as we are staged. Nightlife and King Kong. Watch for that green light. There it is. King Kong hesitates just momentarily, then takes the victory, but has a major problem right there at the end.
Gary, he spit out the front drive shaft of the truck right over that last set of cars. I'm going to try to get down to him. As you can see, there's a shot from inside the cab. That's what it looks like to him. There's also some sparks out the rear now. That just might be some flexing from the shield over the brakes. I'm going to try to get down to him. He might have some big problems. We'll see if he's able to return.
Well, we see him spit that front drive shaft out right there as King Kong has a major problem. And right there, you can see some sparks. Now watch for the drive shaft, and there it goes. Now Rich Hooser is caught up with Steve Kane.
Steve, you won. Looks like you spit out the front drive shaft. You going to be able to come back in the next round?
No, I spit the rear drive shaft out also. I don't know what the deal was there. I guess I'll just have to get her fixed and come back tomorrow.
Okay, well, tough luck for you today, but it was a great run.
All right, thank you.
So Nightlife loses, but will advance by virtue of the broken truck. Gary Porter up next, the Carolina Crusher out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, and he will take on the Wild Hair, Marvin Smith from Arnold, Missouri. A pair of Chevrolets staged here at Wood County Fairgrounds in Bowling Green, Ohio. The long truck very much Crutch to Gary's locking. He takes the victory. It was close for a while.
It was indeed until they got to that second set of cars, and Porter just kept getting faster and faster, and it seemed like Wild Hair was having little problems over on his side. So Porter seems to like this track, and he's doing very well with it.
Porter final round action here in northwestern Ohio. Another look at Gary Porter in the yellow Chevrolet. He advances to the semis. There's a look at Rich Schaefer. He is manning the green light down in the staging area. Here's a good look at Scott Stevens in the King Crunch Chevrolet, the auto value King Crunch out of the state of Texas. And out of Missouri, John Pyant in Bigfoot 4. And Rich Schaefer has the finger on the switch. He looks them over, a thumbs up from both drivers. He'll turn them loose. There's the green light. A close race to the second set of cars. Then the auto value King Crunch entry took the victory.
He sure did. Bigfoot's truck just completely died right before he hit that second set of cars. Let's see if we can see it on the replay here. He's doing good. He's actually in the lead a little bit until right there. Look, there's no horsepower in that truck. He just kind of bloops over the cars, and the engine has died.
So King Crunch advances to the semis. He will meet the winner of the no problem equalizer matchup. And let's go down now to the pit area and Army Armstrong with Scott Stevens.
Scott, it's just like you said. You weren't about to roll over, were you?
No, we finally got our stuff. You know, the last 3 races, the truck's been pretty right. And, you know, we've been off a little on the setup, or I made a mistake driving. And, you know, I just wasn't going to let him intimidate me like he had been the last couple of races. The truck worked real good, and, you know, we're right where we want to be.
He is indeed right where he wants to be. That will be in the semis, but he will face the winner of this matchup, Greg Holbrook, equalizer, and no problem, John Moore, a Chevrolet against a Ford Bronco for the right to meet King Crunch in the semis. And it's all equalizer as John Moore has a real problem as he nears the second set of cars. But Greg Holbrook had the measure from the very starting green.
And he did a great job. As you're going to see here, he does get a little out of shape, and he's able to get the vehicle back in line and hit them cars with both front tires, because if he didn't, he'd be disqualified.
Here's Army Armstrong in the pit area.
Okay, we're down to 4. You draw this Texas truck, King Crunch.
He's a tough race. He had a little bad luck there at the start, and then he come back and beat Foot. But that left lane, it seems to be getting worse, and the right lane seems to be getting better. So we're just going to have to look at it and see.
Now there's a look at equalizer, one of the final 4. Here with more on the final 4 is Army Armstrong.
Well, the Chevrolet people in Bowling Green, Ohio got to be tickled to death right now. We're down to 4. They're all chibbies. Here we go. We got the North Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter. He'll be going against the Nightlife out of Iowa, Dave Wysoric. That comes out of the top bracket. The bottom bracket is going to be represented by the Texas truck, the Auto Value King Crunch, going against the world champion Equalizer, an all Chevrolet Final 4.
And Army did all that without taking a breath. Did you notice, Rich? All right, we are ready for the semifinal action here in northwestern Ohio. There is Dave Wysoric in Nightlife. As you heard Army say, these are all Chevy-powered vehicles. And there is a look at Gary Porter in Carolina Crusher. The winner advances on to the final round here at Bowling Green, Ohio. Rick Schaefer stages the 2 Chevys. The green light is on. Side by side of the second set of cars, and Gary Porter takes the victory in the yellow Carolina Crusher.
Porter did a great job. He's been running that lane all night long, and he's got it down pat. And he seems to be getting faster and faster each time he runs. Watch it. They both are side by side on the start, but as soon as they get over that first set of cars, Porter pours on the power and takes the victory.
Well, Gary Porter will be in the championship against either King Crunch or Equalizer. Now, keep in mind that Gary Porter was the 3rd fast qualifier. Should Equalizer win this next matchup, Equalizer would have the lane choice in the championship. We'll just have to wait and see, but here comes Gary Porter.
We started this thing talking about all the controversy over the new trucks in 1990. You're running one of the oldest trucks in the circuit and going into the final, Gary.
You know, Armin, that's what I was just thinking about. Do I need to build a new truck? You know, this truck is working, you know, it's working this track right here, you know, perfect. You know, I'm lining up a little bit on the left side of the cars at a little angle, and, you know, I'm bouncing over to the left a little bit, but, you know, it seems to be lining me up just perfect for the second set of cars.
You know, when you go to the bank to deposit that winning check, they don't ask you if it's a new truck or an old truck. They just want to make sure the check's good, right?
That's right. The truck is really working this course good for me, and, you know, I'm really pleased with it, except I wish I had just a little bit higher gear ratio in it. I'm turning the motor a little bit too high.
Well, now we are ready for the next shootout between King Crunch and Equalizer for the right to face Carolina Crusher in the championship. The auto value, King Crunch, Woodlands, Texas, Scott Stevens. And Scott will go up against the youngster Greg Holbrook in the Equalizer. And there is a look at the defending national championship truck. Greg Holbrook at 11 in Tennessee. The winner here faces Carolina Crusher for the championship. Oh, what happened to Scott Stevens? Stevens almost missed all the second line of cars.
He pretty much did, Gary. He got a little out of control here. Now watch, he doesn't get lined up for them cars, and if you don't hit them cars with both front tires, you're automatically disqualified. So he thought, well, it's too late now. There's nothing I can do. But Holbrook ran a good race here. As you can see, he stayed nice and straight. He didn't get out of shape at all, and he was able to hit them cars with all fours. And he did just about clear them, but he takes the win.
Well, here's a look at Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch. This is when you don't want to be a television photographer. There's nothing to hide behind as he gets out of shape. Let's go back to the pit area and Army Armstrong.
Greg Holbrook, you and the Carolina Crusher in the final. Last time you guys paired up, he nailed you. What's going to happen tonight?
Last time Army had lost is my fault. I believe this time on this track, our truck, it can't be beat.
He's talking about gearing. He says he's running at his maximum gearing. Have you pulled everything out of this truck you can tonight?
No, I hadn't yet. I hadn't been turning about 6,500 RPMs all night long.
You're going to be in the winner's circle?
I sure hope so. I'm going to give it all I got.
An honest driver, he says. The last time we raced, I lost. It was my fault. I'll avenge that. We'll be in victory lane. We'll find out. Come back with us. Inside our production truck where it's warm and dry, but outside here it is cool and damp at the Wood County Fairgrounds. A lot of anticipation. We are ready for the championship shootout. Army?
Well, the final set in Bowling Green, we said earlier, is going to be an all-Chevrolet show. Here's the way it goes down. The last time these two trucks met, the yellow truck won. The old pro, Gary Porter, he intimidated this kid out of Tennessee. The driver from Tennessee says he made a mistake. It's not going to happen again. The kid from Tennessee going against the old pro. It's final time. Let's see who's going to nail this one.
Well, let's see how prophetic Greg Holbrook can be. Let's see if he can avenge that loss at Richmond. He has chosen the left lane. He drives the Equalizer Chevrolet, and he goes alongside the veteran Gary Porter in Carolina Crusher.
Now, this is going to be probably one of the closest races we're going to see here yet tonight, Gary.
Holbrook avenged the loss at Richmond. He predicted he would win it, and he does.
And he ran probably one of his best runs of the night. Nice and straight, because Porter's run was as straight as can be, and he was wound out to the max. They both did a great job. Let's see again here on the replay exactly what happened. Both of them are side by side in between the cars, but look, Equalizer seemed to pour on extra power to blow away Carolina Crusher.
Another look coming up at Equalizer, Greg Holbrook. It is fast, it is straight, and for all these cars, it is smooth.
And don't forget,
a good ride as he takes the victory.
The National Championship tractor for...
Now here comes Carolina Crusher. When he gets over, he does a little bit more bouncing there after that first set, but he just doesn't seem to have the horsepower to keep up to Equalizer.
And Army Armstrong is with both the drivers.
Well, the finals went down in Bowling Green. Reverse the tables from the last time these two trucks met. This kid's definitely learning, isn't he, Gary?
He is. He's learning real fast. You know, he has an excellent truck. You know, Gary Cook built him to drive, and he's doing an excellent job driving. You know, I felt like I made a real good pass that run. I got a little too low a gear in my truck tonight, but I'll gear it up for tomorrow night. You know, we'll be back strong.
Well, nothing to be ashamed of. As usual, you did a great job. Let me bump over and talk to this kid. Hey, you're making a name for yourself. You're like a gunfighter of years ago. You're starting to knock off all these big guys, and they're going to be coming back after you hot and heavy now.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good luck. Gary's got the truck set up good. All I had to do was drive the truck. He'd already proven the truck would work.
You keep saying all you have to do is drive the truck, but, not everybody can do that. There's got to be a talent to driving this truck.
You just have to watch the cars. It's just like any other kind of sport. You got to be able to read the track and know what your truck will do every time.
As the fans start to file out of the Wood County Fairgrounds, we congratulate Greg Holbrook. That will wrap it up here in the Buckeye State. For Rich Hooser and Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us so long from Bowling Green, Ohio. Here's news about an exciting new video release from Diamond P Sports. It's time to shake, battle, and roll. Call 1-800-453-2800 for 70 minutes of awesome air-grabbing rooster tail spring action from the worlds of monster truck racing, truck and tractor pulling, and mud bogging. Relive the great moments of thrilling side-by-side monster truck racing. Feel the ground shake from the raw power of truck and tractor pulling. And get down and dirty as the best mud racers battle the slime for the fastest time. All this incredible action on one video cassette just by calling 1-800-453-2800. That's 1-800-453-2800. Strap up for a ride on the wild side. It's time to shake, battle, and roll.